Was God married? Was the Old Testament revised to hide evidence that God ruled alongside a heavenly queen? But why are these questions necessary in the first place? These questions caught my attention due to a flurry of stories about the alleged relationship between Yahweh and the ancient Near Eastern fertility goddess, Asherah, that I came across while trying to find the latest biblical archaeology stories. Please stay tuned. Let's answer these questions. Drawing on an ancient inscription that mentions Yahweh and his Asherah, some scholars, notably William Dever, in Did God Have a Wife? Archaeology and Folk Religion in Ancient Israel, have in recent years posited that the ancient Israelites worshipped Asherah and other deities alongside Yahweh, the God of the Old Testament. Now, others have taken this a step further and claimed that Yahweh's supposed wife Asherah was later edited out of the Bible by scribes with a monotheistic agenda. These theories sound a bit shocking at first read, and most of the articles reporting on them spin them as a damaging blow to the Christian understanding of God and the Bible. But on closer examination, these theories does not seriously challenge what the Old Testament tells us about ancient Israelite religion. That the ancient Israelites worshipped many different gods is not news to anyone who has read the Old Testament. Although God revealed himself to his people as the one and only true God, even singling out Asherah worship for condemnation, the Israelites, surrounded by other nations that worship many gods, constantly backslide into idolatry. This idolatry did not always take the form of an outright denial of God. Rather than denying Yahweh, the Israelites would often start worshipping other deities like Asherah alongside Yahweh, or sometimes they would worship Yahweh in a way that he had expressly forbidden. Much of the Old Testament described the forbidden worship of pagan gods like Asherah and the Baal, and the failure of Israel's leaders to outlaw such cults. This was a recurring theme for the biblical prophets. One of the most vivid passages in Jeremiah describes God's amazement at Israel's constant backsliding into idol worship, despite all that God had done for them. We are going to look at these Bible quotes later in this video. But then, did Yahweh, the Old Testament God, have a wife? This question becomes pertinent simply because there are some ancient Near Eastern scholars today who believe that God had a wife or a consort, and that there is archaeological evidence for it in Israel. Apart from the biblical text in the Old Testament, there are two other sources for our understanding of Canaanite culture and religion: historical inscriptions and archaeological remains. Two of the most important ancient sites where archaeologists have learned about Canaanite beliefs and culture are located in Syria at the ancient site of Ebla. It was at Ugarit or Ras Shamra where a large archive of clay tablets was recovered, and archaeologists discovered the Baal Circle. After years of translation work on the tablet, it was a vitally important story for our understanding of the Canaanite pantheon, as well as cult beliefs and practices. Like most cultures of the time, Israel was an agricultural-based economy, and so the fertility of crops and lands was of paramount importance. Religion and practical matters were intimately bound together. This may be one of the reasons why they became involved with the worship of Baal in general and Asherah in particular. Evidence of Baal worship and influence has been found extensively throughout Israel and the Levant. From the 12th through the 6th centuries BC, in excavations at multiple sites in Israel, one of the most common cultic religious artifacts are female fertility figurines associated with Asherah, in addition to Bamoth or altar sites. Many contemporary Near Eastern scholars, such as William Dever, Israel Fine Constance, among others, believe that these cult objects are evidence of the folk religion of the Israelites from the late Bronze Age through the Iron Age, and they are generally correct. Israel did in fact participated in the worship of Canaanite gods and goddesses. The looming question, however, is, was it normative or orthodox? Baal, Asherah, and Old Testament Israel, did Yahweh have a consort? Asherah in Hebrew means happy or upright. It appears 40 times in the Hebrew Bible, typically in conjunction with the definite article, the Asherah. The use of the definite article, however, does not rule out Asherah as referring to a personal name as well. This is how the Old Testament writers used it. There has been some discussion by contemporary scholars that the word may also be either a goddess or a category of goddess, a type of goddess. So, it could possibly refer to a type of goddess, a fertility goddess, as well as a personal name. Between 1975 and 1976, an excavation led by Israeli archaeologist Zeev Meshel led 3 short seasons of excavations in northeastern Sinai. Meshel and his team discovered a collection of Hebrew and Phoenician inscriptions painted on plaster walls, pitoy, large clay storage jars, and incised on stone vessels. Since they were discovered, the inscriptions have caused quite a stir in the archaeological community. One inscription was discovered at Kuntilet Ajot, and a similar inscription was also discovered at Kebet al-Qom in the West Bank in Israel, then ancient Judah. The inscriptions refer to Yahweh and his Asherah. A discussion arose among scholars as to the exact nature of Israelite worship and the close similarities and parallels to the Canaanite theology, that is, the god El and his consort or wife Asherah. What it reveals is exactly what the biblical writers in the Old Testament reported was happening in Israel. That Canaanite gods and idolatry would cause Israel to stumble in her worship of Yahweh, according to Exodus chapter 23, verse 32 to 33. So, what is explicitly stated in the biblical text is discovered graphically in the archaeological remains. These discoveries actually affirm the situation on the ground in Israel's religious life in the Iron Age. The Israelites did what was offensive to Yahweh. They ignored Yahweh, their God, and worshipped Baalim and Asheroth, according to Judges chapter 3, verse 7. In 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 19, the prophet Elijah asked Ahab to summon to Mount Carmel 450 prophets of Baal and 400 prophets of Asherah. Asherah here is associated with the god Baal. It was there that the true God answered by fire. In 2 Kings chapter 23 verse 4, Asherah is also associated with Baal during the religious reforms of King Josiah, where he ordered the object made for Baal and Asherah to be removed from the temple and burned. The Lord, speaking through the prophet Jeremiah, cried out to Judah when he said, I brought you into a fertile land to eat fruit and rich produce. But you came and defiled my land and made my inheritance detestable. The priest did not ask, where is the Lord? Those who deal with the law did not know me. The leaders rebelled against me. The prophets prophesied by Baal, following worthless idols. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 7 to 8. Once again, archaeology affirms the biblical text in vivid and graphic detail. These discoveries also reminds us that God is the same yesterday, today, and forever, and that He desires that we worship Him and Him alone. Apart from Him, there is no other God. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 51. So what do you think about this? Kindly leave a comment to let us know what you think about this story. For more ancient history and biblical archaeology stories, please subscribe to this channel and enable notification so you will not miss anything. For more interesting videos like this, please check the playlist here. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video. Peace.